Hello everyone, welcome to Club Reaction to Hibs, now Rangers 2 in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. I am Scott Carney, and joining me tonight to discuss a bizarre game of football it turned out to be is Nicky Irvin. Nicky, how are you, mate?
Very good, mate. I had a very hectic weekend. I've been away for a family wedding all weekend, and I think hectic's probably the word I would use to describe that game, mate, because it was pretty chaotic for 90, oh Christ, I was going to say 90 minutes, but I think in the end we ended up playing about 115 minutes with all the injuries and added time, etc. But glad to get through to the next round, mate, and we'll await the draw to see who we're facing in the semi-finals now.
Absolutely, mate. It's what it was all about, was getting through to the draw, and we are there. As I say, we'll discuss bits about the game for sure, because it was a wee bit all over the place. Happy Mother's Day to all the good mothers out there. I would like to, if I was to dedicate, like, or say it on air to my missus, like, a Happy Mother's Day and that to you, like, me, the wee man. The only thing she really cares about, or I could say that Rangers have made her Mother's Day by winning, but the only thing she really cares about, as long as Rangers win and it doesn't put me in a bad mood. So, I'm sure she'll be delighted anyway. But yeah, obviously the game is on Mother's Day today. But yeah, just a bit of a crazy game. It really is. But look, it was vital for Rangers to get through. It was another game that we had to pass, and we have passed. It might not have been a classic in terms of the way that we approached the game and in terms of the way we played football, but I'm happy the fact that we're into the next round on the draw, which will be made on Monday night after the Hearts and Malton game. So the starting 11, mate, he named an unchanged 11 from the game that started on Thursday night. Wee bit of a shock in that. There was mentioned before the game that Clement had said that Ryan Jack was due to come back in, but I think he's not picked up a knock, but there might be something that they're not quite 100% happy with, so they chose not to involve him tonight. But any shocks in the fact that he didn't choose to rotate it slightly?
Yeah, to be honest, I was a wee bit surprised. I kind of put that on Twitter. I think the challenge we have at the minute, Scott, is we are negotiating 2 and 3 difficult fixtures a week at the minute, and we're relying on 12 and 13 bodies to do it. So I had kind of I know I didn't do the Friday night show, but I did listen. I think the only key change, I mean, there was probably 2 or 3 that I thought would probably come in. I thought Balogun might have come in. I don't necessarily think Suter needs a rest, and I do get the argument around having that stability with your centre-half pairing. I think that was one of the things that you had maybe mentioned on Friday night, Scott, about ensuring that you've got that consistency. I thought Balogun might have come in. Likewise, I thought Jack would come in. It sounds as though circumstances out with our control has stopped that happening. And to be honest, I thought Roof might have start. I thought he looked quite bright the 20 or 30 minutes he kind of played against it's kind of through the week, so I thought he might have come in, but yeah, probably like you, I was a wee bit surprised given it's kind of the same 11 almost. In fact, it was actually the same 11, I think, that started the game for Benfica. It's probably the 11 that injuries obviously will come on to throughout this game. I would probably have expected to have started on Thursday night as well, so yeah, it was a wee bit of a shock not to see at least 2 or 3 changes in there.
I think we've become used to it. I don't know for sure. Again, it would be a guess. It might be the first time that he's used the same team 2 games in a row. Possibly. I don't know if he's done it.
It could well be, because he has a habit of rotating, hasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if he's done it previously. Somebody in the comments will let us know about that, but I'm not 100% sure if he has. He usually changes a couple at least. So yeah, I was a wee bit shocked to see it. But yeah, really, on paper, with the injuries that we have right now, that's the strongest 11 that we have, the one that started the game tonight. I don't think there's any great doubt in that. I think that is the starting 11 as things stand with injuries. And yeah, injuries is another thing we'll come on to later on, mate, unfortunately. But in the game itself, mate, I thought it looks always going to be a frantic start at Easter Road. It's always the same. Hibs are going to raise their game. It's a cup game. You expect it to be frantic. You expect 40% of their stadium to show up and to back their team for that, because they can't even fill their stadium for a Scottish Cup quarter-final against Rangers. But it's what you expect. It is what you expect when you go there. But I thought for the first 10 minutes, I thought Rangers were not rattled. I just thought Hibs looked like they were putting absolutely everything into it within the first 10. And then after that, I thought Rangers got a bit of composure, got a bit of possession, and we started to really kind of dominate the game. Definitely an effort that went wide. They couldn't get on target. Silva fired across a cross as well, but there was no takers for it. And then the first bit of... The only thing that I can think of, mate, generally off the top of my head, that Hibs done for that half was a bit of a bad back pass from Goldson. Butland couldn't get the ball from out his feet, and they hit the post from a bit of a challenge onto Butland, but we survived it. How much was your heart in your mouth when Butland was getting chased down, though?
Yes. But Butland's obviously got his head in the England, how he gets into the England squad, and is probably looking at the boy Ramsdale for Arsenal and going, well,
It was
he's
a
in it.
shocker.
So anything
That was
he
a
can do,
shocker.
I can do better. But yeah, it was one of those heart and mouth moments. You don't see it a lot from Butland. To be honest, that is probably an isolated incident since Butland has came across to Rangers where you go, he's made a bit of an arse of that. But I wouldn't cover Connor Goldson in glory either, because he puts a bit of lift on the back pass. And again, just maybe to give benefit of the doubt to Goldson, I don't know if it maybe took a wee bit of a bobble before it got to him, before he kind of tried to return it back to Butland. But he played it at a height, and then I don't know, but Butland's tried to take a touch. He's just took his eye off it. He's missed it, and then before you know it, the striker was on him. But it's one we get away with.
Not half, mate. I was like, oh, you're just like, put your boot on it, do what you need to do, get rid of it. But no, look, we managed to survive it, obviously. Hibs long balls were kind of what they were planning on doing. You could see what they were planning on doing. They wanted to get the ball long, they wanted to get Rangers on the turn, and that was very much their game plan. That's their game plan, and it was causing a wee bit of indecisiveness from us, I felt, just early on. But then we had the best chance of the half so far when Dessler wins the ball quite high up the park, breaks into the box, neat little check back, tight angle, and it's saved by Marshall. For you, mate, is this a good save or a bad miss?
Probably somewhere in the middle. One thing I will say, by the way, is one of the things that Dessers is very good at is when he is chasing down defenders and you think he's kind of 5 yards behind, he's got no chance here. Quite often he comes out with the ball and he does it again. I think it was the boy Abita who had an absolute nightmare through this game, and I'm sure we'll come on to the other instance, but it was him again. Dessers does brilliantly, in my opinion. He gets his body across him, he's in the box, he uses his strength well. There is maybe an argument of his decision making. Could he have rolled it across? I can't remember who, but I think there was 2 or 3 blue shirts in the box as well.
From the highlight, mate, I don't think there was an option there. I think he's done the right thing. I genuinely do think he's done the right thing. I think I'm more leaning towards it's a good save. If he keeps it lower, maybe there's a chance of it going in.
If he keeps it low, it goes under him, but it's a good save.
Yeah, I'm willing to give Dessers the benefit of the doubt there. I really am. I'm not in the mood for a Dessers bashing tonight, because I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. I just felt that's unlucky, and sometimes that is going to happen. I think I'm just beginning to accept who Dessers is, mate. I think I've come to terms with it. I know what to expect from the guy, and it's like, okay, that's one of the ones that you missed. But no, I thought he'd done well apart from that. It was just unfortunate that Marshall made quite a good save, and he was out quickly to narrow the angle. Next, the 3 favourite words that we love to hear, mate. Penalty to Rangers. Sterling's brought down in the box. It's an absolute stonewall penalty. Michael Stewart goes on a rant for the next 15 minutes about how it isn't a penalty. James Tavernier steps up. It's saved initially, but Lundstrom, like the juggernaut, mate, will not be beaten to there. He bundles the ball and about half of the Hibs defence into the back of net, and we are 1 up. And I thought, yeah, that's a bit more like it, Rangers. And I thought, honestly, at that point, I thought we'll kick on.
Yeah, I think firstly, just to address Michael Stewart, the old phrase of he'd start a fire in an empty house could never be true here. This guy would he would start an argument in an empty house. This guy would literally start an argument with Sale in the mirror. He just loves the sound of his own voice. I'm with you. It is so clear a penalty.
Oh,
it is very, very clumsy. Sterling doesn't need to do much. He's got his body in the right area. He's pushing in on goal. He's goal side. As soon as he feels the contact, he's entitled to go over. People can moan about it. He maybe could. He's entitled to go over. The guy's crashed into the back of him. He's tangled his legs. It's 100% a penalty. But yeah, I love John Lundstrom. I think the word we spoke about was desire. I think there was a small check for, had he moved before Tavernier had kicked the ball? I don't think he had. He simply won the foot race. Desire, I loved his celebration as well, pointing at the badge. He loves it here. He knows what it means. He wants to obviously win titles here. He's got the taste of it now with the League Cup. So no, it was a good goal. And like you, I thought we would have kicked on there, but we just huffed and puffed a wee bit. And the only caveat I will say, Scott, is we know as fans we are down to the bare bones. We're relying on 12 or 13 bodies. Even at the wedding, yesterday I was speaking to a lot of Rangers fans. I think the clear thing for us is when you look at Hibs, you look at the return leg versus Benfica, and you look at, I think, Dundee, which is the next game before we get into the international break. Nobody's asked about performances. All people want is to get through these fixtures unscathed, progress in both the cups, get 3 points on the board in the league, and come out unscathed, and everybody would be fairly happy. So we'll moan about certain things during the game tonight, but reality is it was all about the result.
I 100% agree. I think with the efforts that we put in on Thursday night, I can't be critical of the team. I thought after the penalty, I thought Rangers dominated the rest of the half. Hibs didn't do anything for the rest of that half at all. And we'll obviously come on to just kind of round it up now. Obviously, there was a big stoppage for, well, first of all, Sterling goes down. Looks like the hamstring. I think that was the hamstring he had the ice pack on after Thursday night, mate. We have no luck with injuries right now, mate, but you made a very good point that I would like you to make. You made it in the group chat, so the floor's yours, my man.
I think, I mean, we talk about being unlucky, and maybe we are, but this is just the consequence of running through 2 and 3 big games week in, week out with 12 or 13 bodies, which is where we are now. It's been quite relentless. You think about the St Johnstone game on that park, a big game against Hearts, on the plastic park against Kilmarnock. You're then over in Portugal. You then get another hard game. This is just a consequence of these boys playing 90 minutes 2 and 3 times a week now. And yeah, you could argue maybe we have been a wee bit unlucky, but bodies are just starting to break down a wee bit. We really need to get to this international break and hopefully get some bodies back.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is, but it's more of a consequence of what Beale left us with more than anything else. It's the way the past recruitments went. Obviously, we have been unlucky with some injuries. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think there's definitely been injuries that we were unlucky with. But it's just a shame that it's the guys that were kind of finding a bit of form. Sterling was finding a bit of form, and he seems to have went down with a hamstring. We've got to hope it's just a tight one, but just by looking at it initially, the way that he went down, didn't look good. Didn't look good the way that he looked over at the bench as well before he lay down. Didn't look good either. So it's another one where you're like, because if that's a hammy, it's 6 weeks probably.
Potentially, depending on the grade of the tear, it could be. But I think what's the biggest frustration, Scott, is Sterling was really starting to come onto a game. Because he was linking very, very well with Hibernian. You think about the penalty, 5 or 10 minutes later, he had a very similar situation where he played the give and go with Hibernian again. He get into the box, he get right side Albita again. I think he smashed one at Marshall. So he was starting to come on to a game. Obviously, we know what Sterling gives us defensively as well. So it's a big blow. It's a big blow. I think at the minute, Scott, we can almost rule him out for Thursday. And I think he's a stick on to start on Thursday. So it's a big blow for me, mate.
Yeah, it's a big blow. I would have been the same, mate. I'd have been pretty positive for all of us, but I picked him to start on Thursday night. So yeah, it's a big blow. Big blow. We need to wait and see. Well, obviously, I'd imagine he'll go for a scan, etc. So we'll find out hopefully before the game how long he's potentially going to be out for. But yeah, a real boot in the stones, that one. There was in a clash, a pretty horrible looking clash, that bad that it's not actually been replayed. I've not seen the replay of it anyway. If I've missed it during the halftime break, but I don't think they did show it. A clash between Suter and Boyle. It was causes quite a long delay. Boyle looks to have been knocked out, mate, and it looked like quite a serious one. As I say, they're all human beings, mate. I genuinely hope he's okay. Obviously, it did look a very bad one, so we hope that he's all right. I would need to wait and see what happened. It caused a bit of break in the play, and the break in the play seemed to help Rangers. After that, there was 9 minutes of added on time, mate, and we battered Hibs for 9 minutes. Generally, that whole added time, I thought we battered Hibs, and the only thing we didn't do was score a goal. But at that point, I was going, I can't criticise these players for giving me everything, because giving us everything, even because of what they've been through in terms of the effort they put in on Thursday night as well. So I thought at half time, mate, I genuinely thought, I think we can feel unlucky that we are not more than 1 goal ahead, because Butland, apart from that heart attack moment that he had, he wasn't required.
No, agreed. I think the penalty just kind of took the stuffing out of them. As you say, you're always going to get that with Hibs, right? They'll kind of go gung-ho for a period, and then Rangers started to take a bit of control. And I think we probably did control the vast majority of that half. You're right. I think the last 15, 20 minutes, we definitely controlled it without being brilliant. I thought some of our decision making and final ball and the kind of final third maybe killed us a wee bit. But yeah, you almost expect that kind of took the stuffing out of them. You're unlucky maybe not to go in 2 up or 3 up even. And then you almost expect that you'll come out strong in the second 45 minutes and kind of kill the game. But as I'm sure we'll come on to, it didn't quite pan out like that.
No, the second half Hibs started very much the better team. I thought we started to look tired quite quickly into the half, and again, it's to be expected. But we couldn't get control of the ball at all. We honestly couldn't. Hibs looked very much the team in the ascendancy, apart from a shot from Tavernier, I think it was, from distance that caused Marshall to make a save to tip it round the post. It was pretty much one-way traffic. We struggled. We really did. We struggled to maintain possession. We struggled to take the pressure off. And then the game just kind of gets pretty much turned on its head. Well, I think just before that, McCausland goes off injured as well, mate. I mean, another wide player that's down and out injured, you're like, come on, give it a break. But I think that shows you, mate, he's obviously wasn't fully fit. He's been put in to come back because we're in desperate need of quality and bodies on the bench for options. But another one where you're going, who else are we going to play out right now?
Yeah, and I think the situation is summed up perfectly when you go Rangers get somebody injured and they bring somebody on and they end up injured. You know what I mean? And you could the domino effect is on further, Scott, because you could then argue that Matondo probably wouldn't have been used tonight unless you really needed to. Again, he's been out for kind of 3 weeks or so. You obviously want to bed him back in, but he's kind of forced on just through lack of options at the minute. So yeah, I think you're right. We are in a situation at the minute where games are coming thick and fast. And in an ideal world, you give these players who have knocks a bit more time and you can bed them in slowly. But with the circumstances at the minute, they're having to be thrown in, and we're almost again just seeing the consequences of that. Because it looked as though McCausland was pointing to the same part of his legs that he pointed to during Motherwell. So to your point, it looks as though it's maybe not been 100%. He's taken a bit of a dun on it, and it's just forced him off again. Hopefully precautionary more than anything. But yeah, again, we'll need to wait and see what implications that has for Thursday.
Yeah, you make a good point about Matondo as well. I think I doubt he would have been used tonight. He was only there if in a needs be, if he had to be used, he would have been used kind of scenario. McCausland goes off and he's replaced with Matondo, as you mentioned, and Dessers comes off at that point, and Kamar Roof comes on. The game at this point was heated. Hibs, there was some serious tackles flying about. You could feel the needle in it. As McCausland was going off, Obita decides to try and push off the what's the name of him? One of the doctors, one of the physios, one of the medics for Rangers, as well as McCausland's bonkers idea. I don't know why he's thinking that's a very good idea, because it isn't. Obita was previously booked for the tackle on Lawrence, which was rightly a booking, and yeah, you could just feel the needle coming up. McLean knew this. The referee knew that the game was getting a bit tasty, and booked Kamar Roof for nothing, literally nothing, for being on the pitch, I think. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, mate, to be completely honest. Hibs just completely lose their rag. The Abita he's been sent off for looks like an elbow on Matondo. Matondo plays the ball inside, tries to run past him. Abita's not watching the ball. He tries to block him. He flings his arm back, as far as I'm concerned, connects with Matondo's face, and it's a rightful second booking, and Hibs go down to 9 men. Slowly followed by another one of them just losing 10 men even, and then slowly followed by a crazy tackle. And look, as much as Michael Stewart wants to disagree with the rules and make up his own rules of the game, which was driving me insane, I'm not going to lie, I'm still not over it, to be honest. It's still niggling away at me how much of an absolute complete moron the guy is, and he's a sad excuse for a pundit. Sad excuse for a man, never mind a pundit. But the tackle, he's lunged in, mate. Both feet are off the ground. He's flying through the air, no matter where. If he's coming in from the front, the side, the back, it makes no difference. He's trying to do John Lundstrom there, and rightfully, it's a straight red card for me. And at that point, I just thought, all Hibs have done here is played into our hands. They were in the ascendancy. We were looking a wee bit tired, and now we could take our time, compose ourselves, and literally take the foot off the gas, knowing that we're still going to score a second.
Yeah, I think on Abita, firstly, the guy had an absolute nightmare. It was him that made the arse of the Dessers chance we spoke about in the first half. It's him that gives away the penalty. He's then pushing the medic. He then obviously gets sent off for, he actually throws both hands up. I don't know what one it is
Yeah.
that catches him, but he almost has a go with his right hand, and then he thinks, you know what, I've not caught him, I'll get up with the left hand. So he almost made double sure that he was going to lay a wee bit on Matondo. And yeah, I think the second, obviously the straight red, I'm agreeing with you. Michael Stewart just again just likes the sound of his own voice, right? He just wants to be different. He just wants to create a bit of controversy with all these things. If you think back to the Sterling tackle, he doesn't leave a lot on Lundstrom. But that's not the point. You look at the Sterling one against Aberdeen, the narrative was all about the speed, the intent. He stood in the guy's toe, but it was all about the pace that he went into that tackle with. The guy comes in with serious pace. He takes both legs off the ground. As I say, I don't think he lands much on Lundstrom, but there is clear intent there to lay one on Lundstrom. I think by that point they are getting frustrated. They are probably very, very aggravated by the fact that they're already down to 10 men. Lundstrom kind of robs the ball, and I think he just thinks, you know what, I'm going to do him here. And he's just made a complete ass of it. And as you say, this has just played totally into our hands because we got a bit of the momentum shift with the first red. That just killed the game for them. Effectively, any chance of them getting back into the game was then just dead and buried because, as you say, playing against 10 men can sometimes still be a bit of a challenge. But we're playing against 9. You then have all the space and all the time in the world just to get your foot on the ball, kill it, make them run about a wee bit, and very, very quickly, we then controlled the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, again, I feel like I'm taken away from how good I thought Rangers were defensively. I think in that second half, look, we had to weather a storm, and it went on for a lot longer. When the second half started, I was going, okay, we're weathering this storm, and then before I knew it, we were at 65 minutes, and I was going, God, this storm's still going. I was like, it's not stopped yet, but we were still, we were keeping them contained to an extent. Butland made a save from a free kick. One tipped over from a corner as well that kind of nearly caught him at the near post. But again, nothing that you were. Lundstrom didn't have the game of his life or anything like that. It's not as if Lundstrom was tremendous. I thought the defence was holding strong, and for the minutes that have been in the legs, I was like credit to them. But the decision from Hibs to completely lose their heads is a crazy one. It really is, because they could have continued to put on that pressure and see where it got them. But I think they got frustrated at the fact that they hadn't scored yet, and I think they knew at some point we were going to get our chance. But even at that, if I was the Hibs manager tonight, I would not be very happy with what I'd just seen for a few of my players on that pitch anyway. We make changes at that point. Diamonde comes off and Raskin comes on also. McKinnon comes on for Lawrence. I couldn't remember who else went off. McKinnon come on for Lawrence. At that point, mate, Rangers just had to take their time. It was going to come. I think Hibs blew as much as they could for the next 4 or 5 minutes or so, but nothing really came of it. And at that point, Rangers just composed themselves, gathered the ball, passed from side to side, moved the team about as you should. Then a smart pass from Lundstrom to Silva. Silva on the left-hand side, who I again thought was terrific today, cuts inside and buries it to make it 2-0, mate. The game is absolutely over, and we are through to the next round of the cup, and that's all I could ask for. But Silva again on the left, mate, I thought he was very impressive.
Yeah, I agreed. I don't think everything came off for him, but the his ability to bring in the ball, his progression up the park, he constantly went at their fullback, which I like. I think one of the biggest frustrations we have with wingers is them coming inside all the time, playing safe passes. What Fabio Silva does do is he tries to interchange. He plays 1-2. He gets at the right back constantly. It's a brilliant chop. I think the ball into Lundstrom into that kind of inside channel. He looks as though he's trying to take him on the outside. It's a very, very quick chop to change direction. Very like what we've seen for the second goal in Benfica when he took himself back inside before crossing the ball. And then it's a brilliant finish as well. He looks as if he's kind of opened the keeper up to go far post, and he just kind of reverses it in. But yeah, it's another really good performance with him. I think we've now found his position. I think he's that sort of left-hand side. I like that. I quite like the inverted wingers. I like the wingers who are right playing on the left or left playing on the right, where they can kind of come inside and they can affect the game from the inside of the park. So no, I thought he was good again, and I think he gave the kind of full back quite a bit of he gave him a hard 90 minutes or so.
Absolutely, I just thought he was terrific, mate. I like the idea of him being there. I think that's 2 games in a row where I've thought that works. That very much works, and I won't be shocked if you see him there for the rest of the season. And that's obviously not down to injuries. I do think he would be in for a shout of starting there, considering how he has performed in the past couple of games in that position. So yeah, look, tonight by no means a classic in terms of Rangers, but it doesn't matter. Performance, we all like to criticise and analyse performance when we're watching it, but after it, when the game's over and done, I thought we were never really in any great doubt in that first half. Okay, second half, we had to weather what they had, but they lost their heads and we didn't. And that's the biggest bit of praise that I can give the team. Hibs have helped us out by being able to control ourselves, control the game, and pick to when attack and score the second, and we very much did so. So I'm delighted with how Rangers handled their business tonight. It's all I could ask for. We're through and we're on to another massive game on Thursday now. PS, just as an off, after this podcast, in the description there will be a Just Giving page for Michael Stewart. Please don't donate to it. Nicky, can you pick your man of the match tonight for me, please?
I think probably Lundstrom. I think there was instances with Lundstrom tonight where again he's maybe passing wasn't as good as what it has been previously, but the benefit of the doubt, the caveat we put at the start of this podcast, we understand what particularly John Lundstrom has played, I think 90 minutes every single one of these games. Somebody might correct me, but he has been there playing every single minute that we have had over the last 3 weeks or so is went into John Lundstrom's leg. So I think just the ground he covers, I think some of his positioning was great in terms of snuffing out danger when Hibs were attacking, etc. He obviously creates the ball into Silva for the second goal. He scores the first. So John Lundstrom, I think, would be man of match for me.
Be hard to argue with Looney, mate, to be fair. I think that's the kind of best shout of all of them. I thought Ridvan was terrific again tonight. I think he's just shown that he's wanting to continue on the form that he's been showing. So I thought he was great again. Just it's the way that he cuts out balls. I say it all the time, but it's the way he just reads the ball so quickly, and he just immediately gets the ball. And his first instinct is, "I am going forward." I love it. I genuinely love it. I just want to see more and more of Ridvan just now. He's brilliant, and Silva as well, as you mentioned. To be different, I'll give it to Silva because I thought he was great. Didn't think he stopped tonight. I don't think at any point he wasn't involved in the game. He was all over the pitch at times. He was tracking back, and yeah. But I mean, Lundstrom is man of the match, but a close second for me is Silva. But you look, job done by Rangers tonight. Job done, and we are through to the draw, which, as I say, will happen on Monday night after the last game is concluded in the quarterfinals. Nicky, thank you so much for joining me tonight, mate. I hope your missus lets you off for watching Rangers and doing a podcast after it.
I'm on a shaky peg, mate. I'm going to need to make dinner and breakfast, I think, at this rate. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, magic. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back on Tuesday night with Club Deck Corner as we look ahead to another massive game as we go to Ibrox on Thursday night to play Benfica in the second leg of the Europa League. Until then, we have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.